Hello everyone, I'm Millie and today I'm here with Mr. Paul Revere. We're going to be talking about the Boston Massacre print that he created. Mr. Paul, can you start off by saying who are you and can you give me a little background about yourself?
I was born in Boston, Massachusetts, and growing up, I received some formal education, but I did not attend college. Instead, much of my early training came from apprenticing with my father, where I learned metalworking, engraving, and business skills. When my father died in 1754, I was just 19 years old and had to take over the family shop to support my mother and younger siblings. As a young man, I also served briefly in a colonial militia during the French and Indian War, which gave me early military experience. My work as a craftsman and my connections in Boston's busy port city exposed me to political discussions and growing tensions between the colonies and Britain.
And can you explain how working as a silversmith like your father influenced your political involvement?
Working as a silversmith connected me directly to economic struggles. I relied heavily on trade and local customers, but when the Parliament imposed taxes, it raised prices and drove customers away, naturally making me against unfair taxation. I became a well known patriot, and my storefront served as a gathering place where news and political ideas were exchanged.
Okay, now I know that your midnight ride happened after you created the Boston Massacre print, but can we talk about your midnight ride and why were you chosen to take that ride?
I was a trusted, experienced, and deeply involved patriot in the movement. As a member of the Sons of Liberty, I worked closely with revolutionary leaders such as Samuel Adams and John Hancock, who relied on me to carry important messages. I had already completed several courier missions between Boston and other colonies, so I knew my way around and understood how to avoid British patrols. I also helped organize a signal system at Old North Church to alert others about the British.
Can you tell me your thoughts on Sybil Ludington and why did you get more credit than her?
Okay, to make things clear, I didn't make myself the hero and take all the credit on purpose. I became a hero because of the poem written by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. I had no idea that this would make me famous. I was doing it for the genuine safety of fellow patriots. Sybil's ride was arguably more impressive considering it was twice the distance that I rode, but mine took place right before two major battles that marked the start of the war. In addition, Sybil's ride was recorded much later.
Let's talk about your print that you made of the Boston Massacre. What motivated you to create this print?
I made the inscription of the Boston Massacre to influence colonists to turn against the British. By calling the event a bloody massacre, I made it seem like the British soldiers intentionally killed innocent people. This helped spread patriot propaganda and increase our anger towards British rule.
And can you explain why the people in the print are all lined up and why there's a dog in the print? Like explain the creation of it.
The people that were lined up in the print were the British, and it was purposefully made to look like that because the civilians looked defenseless and innocent. The dog is there to make the scene look like it was more of a normal day until the British opened fire on civilians for no reason, which is not actually how the massacre went down.
Okay. And were you present at the scene of the massacre or did you rely on others' information?
I was not present at the massacre, and my information came from an image that was originally illustrated by Henry Pelham.
And can you tell us why you lied about the document and created false information?
I exaggerated what happened in the Boston Massacre to influence public opinion and support the Patriot cause. By making the British soldiers look like they deliberately killed innocent colonists, I aimed to stir anger and fear among the people in the colonies. This type of propaganda helped unite colonists against British rule and encourage resistance. As a patriot, I thought that I was lying for the greater good and the future of America. I didn't feel like it harmed the fundamentals or morals of our country because in reality, those soldiers killed innocent civilians.
And Adams, a well-known patriot, defending the British at this time.
Many patriots were angry about his decision and the killings. We believe that the soldiers should be punished. I even spread this propaganda to harm their reputations and make people turn against the British. Because of this tense atmosphere, Adams' decision to defend the soldiers in court surprised many colonists and made us think that he was being unpatriotic. It caused him to look very suspicious, and I didn't agree with his decision.
And lastly, how do you think this document fits into the promise of liberty?
The engraving visually argued that the British rule threatened their basic rights and freedoms. By presenting the colonists as peaceful and the soldiers as cruel and aggressive, the engraving suggested that the British government was abusing its power instead of protecting its citizens. At the time, many colonists believed that they were entitled to the same rights as English citizens, including fair treatment under the law and protection of unjust violence. My image implied that those rights were being violated, and if British troops could shoot civilians in the streets, then promise of liberty under the British rule seemed false. The engraving made it look like their freedom was under attack.
Okay, thank you everybody for joining us, and I hope you learned a little something about Mr. Paul Revere.